Hello, hello, hello. It's Keita Williams, founder and chief strategist of Successfully. Successfully is an elite accountability practice, so that makes me your personal professional butt kicker. Welcome to the Corporate Escape Route. This is a live stream that we do every Monday to support our part-time coaches and consultants who are looking to scale out of their corporate job. So if you are a new coach, a new consultant, and you are working full-time, you are in the right place. Welcome. We're excited that it's a holiday weekend. Well, we're working, but some of y'all are not. So we hope that you've been had a chance to get some rest, to reflect, to get some restoration, to feel ready to reconnect with your business. And so in the month of February, everything has been the content has been all around finding your sweet spot in your business. So if you're new here, go back and look at the trainings for the last couple weeks because we talked about just the simplicity around just having one ideal client, one irresistible offer, and having a very buttoned up way that you're going to get in front of those clients. So we're trying to simplify your business so you can fall in love with it, that you'll enjoy it, that you'll scale it, and that your corporate career can be a thing of the past. So if you're new, go back and look for those trainings or raise your hand and let your concierge know that you need support. So this is a great time to introduce our concierges. So if your first name begins with the letters A through D, Crystal is your concierge. So Crystal, go ahead and wave your hands at the good people. If your first name begins with the letters E through M, Sai is your concierge. So Sai, go ahead and wave at everyone. And if your first name begins with the letters N through Z, Lucille is your concierge. So if you need any support, if you want the content from the last couple weeks so you can kind of rethink your business, if you're stuck and you need a strategy session, reach out to your concierge and we will be sure to get information over to you to share those additional trainings with you. It's like what I've been sharing the last few weeks is really the foundational things that every new coach or consultant needs to have. And so, yes, I'm sharing with you the what, not necessarily the how. If you want the how, you want the how, that's where you reach out and you get more information on our coaching programs or our online courses. And let's all say hello to Dante. Say hi, Dante. He's moving the background behind me. Thank you, Dante. So say hi to Dante. That's my year-and-a-half-old Shar-Pei puppy who's making a special guest appearance in this live stream today. All right. So the last couple weeks, like I said, we talked about your ideal client. So your ideal client is who are you uh, uh, best equipped to serve based on your training and your lived experience. Who do you want to work with? So we get to design this. So who is it you want to work with? Being really clear about them, really understanding them, giving them a name, um, understanding, what their interests are, where they hang out, what are the things that keep them up at night, what are some of those challenges that they experience on a day to day. And then we talked about last week developing that irresistible offer. So when you really know your ideal client and you understand their aspirations, their hopes, their dreams, the challenges that get in the way, the roadblocks that slow them down. When you understand those things, then you can create an offer that meets their needs. When you truly understand your ideal client, when you truly understand where they're coming from and where they want to go, you are more than capable of creating that for them and creating what I like to call a transformation bridge. So you're taking them from point A to point B. So if your goal is to help them make more money, you have steps for them to follow to get there. If your goals are helping them live a healthier lifestyle and lose weight and put on more muscle, you have a game plan and a strategy for how to do that. So that's what your irresistible offer is. And so today, we're going to talk about connecting with your ideal client. So you know who they are, you know what they have, what you have to offer them. So now, how do you connect with them? How do you connect with them? And so, essentially, when we're thinking about um, connecting with our ideal client, we can really think about the mechanisms of marketing, right? And without lecturing you on what marketing is and what marketing isn't, for this case, what I want you to think about, we don't need to think about awareness campaigns, consideration, or conversion. We don't need to think about that level of marketing. What I want you to think about in this space and this time and where you are in your business, if you are a part time coach or consultant, what you need is leads. You need your ideal client, prospective client. You need names, phone numbers, social media accounts. You need how to get in touch with your ideal client. So we like to call that a lead, right? So your efforts should generate leads. Okay. So I want you to really consider that we are not looking for things that are going to drive visibility. Visibility you can think about when you got some clients, where you can think about reaching the masses, because I want to tell you the hand-to-hand combat for right now where you are in your business is going to be more important than you being featured in Forbes. I want you to be featured in Forbes, but I want you to have some clients. More so, I want you to have clients before you have national publications, okay? And so I really want you to rethink that idea of exposure and visibility. So if someone wants to pay you in exposure, you ask them to pay you in leads. Okay? When they say exposure, you say, how many leads am I going to get out of this? How many names, numbers, social media accounts, email addresses can you provide me with through this exposure? That's one way to flip it on its ears. Because leads, you can lead them to a sale. Okay. So I really want you to think about, when we're thinking about how we're connecting with our ideal client, this is really your marketing efforts, right? And this is to generate leads. So at the end of the day, if what you're creating, what you're spending time on, does not give you names, phone numbers, email addresses of your ideal client, I want you to rethink where you're putting your time. All right. I know recently, I was asked, like, how do you manage your time as a newer entrepreneur? I want a third of your time should be servicing clients, a third of your time should be getting new leads, and a third of your time should be sharing, selling, closing. That's as a newer entrepreneur. That shifts a little bit as your client roster grows. It kind of changes a little bit. But if you really have to think about, if you got 10 hours in the week or 9, let's make it nice and even so it's easy to divide. If you got 9 hours a week to devote to your business, 9 should be lead generation, 9 should be nine total. 3 should, I can do math. 3 should be finding new leads, generating new leads. 3 hours should be servicing clients, and 3 hours should be those consultation calls, those moments to sell. Okay. If we just had 9 hours a week to dedicate towards our business. Okay. And again, that'll shift as your business grows. But for this definition, whatever you are creating, wherever you're putting your energy, at the end of the day, I want you to ask yourself, did it get me contact information for my ideal client for me to connect with them one-on-one? Okay. All of the posting on Instagram, has it given you contact information for your ideal client? So that's what I really want you to consider while you're thinking this through. So I want to give you 3 tips. So things to consider. Okay, this is a who, where, and how situation. So who, what, where, when, how, right? So we know the who is your ideal client. The what is your irresistible offer. Where, if you understand your ideal client, you know where they're hanging out. You know where they're hanging out. If your ideal client are HR leaders, your best bet is to hang out on LinkedIn, right? That's your best bet. Or go to HR, speak at HR conferences. If your ideal client is an HR decision maker, where do the HR decision makers hang out? Right? So where? If your ideal client is a mom of young children that wants to lose 30 pounds that they put on with multiple back-to-back pregnancies, okay, where are those mamas hanging out with small kids? Where are they hanging out? Where? If your ideal client is A service-based business owner who wants to scale from 6 to 7 figures, where are they hanging out? With other entrepreneurs. With other entrepreneurs. They're on the speaking circuit. They're out and about. They're building their businesses. They're not hard to find. So the where, and then the how. So once you know where you're going to find a whole bunch of them, how do you want to reach them? Are you going to connect with them individually? Are you going to text? Are you going to email? Are you going to call? I personally do not like cold calling. But I love leaving voice memos. If you check your messenger right now, especially our new people, you should have a lively voice memo from me. And if you haven't got a lively voice memo from me, raise your hand. I'll leave you one today. Okay. So who, your ideal client. The what is your irresistible offer. The where, where they hang out. HR professionals are not necessarily hanging out on TikTok. Maybe there's a TikTok following. I don't know. But where can you find the most of them? And then how are you going to reach them? And so here are my 3 tips on how to really execute on this. So how do we make this real? How do we make this real? So the first thing I would say is, before you start big, bold marketing campaigns where you're putting out dollars to attract leads for lead generation, I want you to first think, tap your personal network. And this is not your close friends and family. So I want you to think about like the spheres of influence, right? So if you think about it in LinkedIn terms, you have your first degree, you have your second degree, you have your third degree, right? So you're inside, even inside that first degree, there are people that you are really tight with. You can ask them for referrals, or say, just inform them that your business is open. But like in terms of them actually buying something from you, it's few and far between for a really close friend or a relative to buy from you. Okay. So don't be discouraged that you're not building your business off of them. I want you to think about that colleague that you may have had lunch with 1 or 2 times, or that someone you went to school with but you haven't seen in a while. So think of them as acquaintances. I always feel like I do better with my second and third degree than like that first degree of people that know me personally, or who have known me since childhood or known me since college, kind of thing. I feel like I do a little better with people who've had experiences with me only as a coach, who haven't known me in my previous career as a public relations person, or who haven't known me as a silly college student. So I really want you to start there, that second and third degree of your personal network. And how are you going to reach out to them? So you can identify the how. Are you going to email? Are you going to text? Are you going to send voice memos? Are you going to send them DMs? But really, these are people, again, they're your ideal client though. So sift through your personal network and make sure that the people in your personal network that you're going to reach out to line up with the ideal client. So like, just don't reach out to people that you know, reach out to people that are your ideal client. Right. And just whether you call them, text them, email them, direct message them, that's the first thing I want you to do. And if you haven't exhausted that personal network, start there before you start any other campaigns. Before you start spending ad dollars and all of that stuff, I want you to start with that personal network. Exhaust that, and your personal network you can use for business, but also for referrals, because they're familiar with you. They may be willing to pass your name on, or make an e-introduction to someone that's a better fit, or someone who's ready to buy right now. So there's 2 ways that you can use your personal network to generate business, but also to generate referrals. Okay. And so tap that personal network. And when I say personal network, second and third degree, not your cousins, not your line sisters. I want you to kind of get outside of that. And people that are you're a little more of a casual relationship with, you'll see a lot more pick up from there than those people that are really, really close to you. Now, if you have a really great relationship, especially if you have a really close friend that is an entrepreneur, that's a great time to really ask for a referral. But I will say second and third degree. Okay. Second thing I want you to consider when you're thinking about how you're going to get in front of this ideal client. So you know the who, your ideal client, you know the what, you have an irresistible offer for them, you know where they hang out. Now I want you to think about, what do you enjoy doing, right? What do you enjoy doing? Not everybody can get on camera live and talk about stuff that they enjoy. This is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Not everybody can do a speaking engagement. Some people do not want to be in front of a crowd. Not everyone is a good writer. Not everyone's good on camera. Not everyone is a extrovert and wants to go to networking events. So I want you to think about, what do you enjoy? What do you enjoy doing? Right? What's already a part of your life that you can expand a little bit? So if you enjoy going to networking events, go to networking events where there's a lot of your ideal clients, right? Go to them. If you cater to parents, go to the mommy support groups, or go to the mommy workout classes. Go where, if you enjoy networking, in-person networking, go where your ideal clients hanging out. If you enjoy speaking, right? If you don't mind getting up with a PowerPoint and getting busy in front of an audience, if you do not mind doing that, make sure your audience is filled with your ideal clients. So our ideal client is named Carrie. I don't go places where there are no Carries, right? There's no need for me to speak to a room full of everybody. I need a room full of Carries, where my coaching style, my offer is going to resonate with a Carrie, right? So what do you enjoy doing? If you enjoy writing, what does that look like from a content perspective? And how can you position that so it drives you, what do we say? Leads, right? If you enjoy being on camera, where can you do video content? What can you put out there that you enjoy doing, that, what do we want? We want it to drive leads. So we need names, phone numbers, contact information, ways to get in touch, whether that's direct message, Facebook profiles, whatever. We need the leads. So what is it that you enjoy doing? I actually have a client right now that we're working through this, that enjoys outdoor activities and likes to lead snowshoeing, leads kayaking, hiking, that kind of stuff. Okay, that's all you. Every week you do this, and you're getting in front of a bunch of different people who are looking to connect with nature. That means they want to connect, and they're looking for a new experiences, and then they experience something with you. They have a transformational experience with you. So why not follow up with them about your business, right? So there may be things that you're already doing in your life, that you can, rather than creating a whole different thing you need to do, it's just opening yourself up to share more about your business, right? So sharing more and sharing more. So, like, what do you enjoy doing, and what can we already plug into, right? What talents, treasure, and time do you want to use? It may be something you're already doing. Like, I'm comfortable speaking. I'm comfortable speaking. I don't mind. I think that pre-pandemic it was a little exhausting because I was on and off planes all the time, and it was really hard on my vocal cords. But now we can do everything virtually. I could hit a whole bunch of carries, right? So what do you enjoy doing? Do you enjoy writing? Do you enjoy video? Do you enjoy getting out and connecting with people? Right? If you like going to networking events, okay, then what are you going what's on your calendar this month? And what's your follow-up, right? Your fortune is always going to be in your follow-up. And then the third thing. So we're going to tap our personal networks first. So the second and third degree. Then we're going to think about, what do we actually enjoy doing? What do we have a knack for, that we have talent for, that we enjoy doing, that doesn't feel like a chore, that gets us in front of our ideal client, right? What is it that is unique to us, that we enjoy doing. And sometimes maybe it is meeting people one on one, meeting them where they're at. Maybe that is it. But what do you enjoy doing? And then thirdly, what can you do consistently? What can you do consistently? What do you have bandwidth and resources for, right? So if you're going to go to networking events that feature your ideal client, can you commit to 1 to 2 of those a week and not cancel, not give yourself an excuse or an out every week because you're tired? It too much? Is one enough? Or is it, 2 a month? So what is it that you can do consistently, even when you're tired and you don't feel like it? You might enjoy podcasting. You might enjoy it. You might enjoy interviewing people and getting their stories and understanding the path they took to success. You may enjoy that. But do you realistically have the bandwidth to produce a high quality podcast? And more importantly, do you have the patience to build an audience that will inevitably convert, which hopefully will convert, right? The same thing with social media. Do you have the bandwidth? What can you do consistently? What can you commit to? Is it 1 post a week, 2 posts a week? If you're going to blog, what does that look? What can you do consistently? And again, this is going outside. We're past our 3 rings, right? So we're past our spheres of influence. So like your spheres of influence of people who have actually met you, right? Or experienced something with you. When we're talking about content creation and speaking and networking events, we're talking about people we haven't met yet. So they have no idea who you are from a fence post, right? So what can you do consistently based on your current bandwidth, based on what you enjoy doing, that you're willing to commit to even when you're tired, right? And know that there are ways that you can automate this, right? There are tools that you can use. If you have the budget, you can spend some ad dollars on lead generation, right? You can. This is available to you, right? But we have to think about the consistency part, because if you're not consistently showing up in these spaces, you're not consistently getting new leads, and you're not consistently nurturing those leads, you're not consistently having consultation calls, therefore you're not consistently converting to new clients, right? And so in the space of entrepreneurship, we control what we control, right? So we control that first domino. Of being consistent on lead generation. Then we control reaching out to those leads and staying in touch with them and loving up on them. We don't control when people say yes. We don't control when they book a call. We don't control when they like, share, or comment on our content. We control when we show up. We control our consistency. We control the value that we add. We control sharing our message, sharing our encouragement, sharing strategies. We control that. So we control our consistency. We control when we follow up, how often we follow up. Those are things that are in our scope of control. And I'm going to be honest with you, and you can send me a message after this. I don't care. There is nothing personal here. It's math. It's math. If you're not doing enough lead generation, and you're not doing enough follow-up, which is in your scope of control, you're not booking enough calls, you're not closing enough clients. So if right now you have very few clients, or you have a big project and then nothing for a while, I can tell you took your foot off the gas and you're not being consistent. So whether you have clients, whether your roster is full, whether you're feeling overworked, we don't stop lead generation. We don't stop having conversations. We don't stop following up, right? Because you could look up one day, all your contracts have ended and you have no clients. So we want to program this as part of our DNA in our company, right? And that if you feel comfortable getting in a room full of strangers and work in the room, and a room full of your ideal clients, and work in that room and coming home with some business cards, coming in home with some LinkedIn connections, and then following up, then how often are you going to do that a month? How often are you going to do that a week? If you are comfortable getting up in front of a captivated audience and titillating them with content and sharing an opportunity to work with you, how often are you going to do that? And know that there's follow-up to book those. So that's a separate work stream. To book the speaking engagements, you have to have the contacts. You have to follow up with people. You got to get it scheduled, right? So there is a lot that happens to make these happen, but it takes consistency, whatever you choose. And I'm going to tell you, one of my mentors said this: 50% of marketing works. It's understanding the 50% that works for you, and that's going to take some trial and error. If you're doing speaking engagements and you're not getting any leads, and it's not turning into conversations where you can actually um, share your services, maybe speaking engagements is the thing to do. If your content is falling flat, um, maybe you shouldn't over rotate on that right now, because you get enough clients, you can outsource that to someone who it's their area of expertise, and you can grow it from there. Okay, so I want to remind you that business is not hard. Business is easy. And I will keep yelling that. Business is easy. It's three things, especially in this space of coaching and consulting. Have an ideal client. If you try to help everyone, you help no one. So I want you to be specific. Ideal client. Create an irresistible offer. When you really know your client, you know their hopes, their aspirations. You also know their pain points and things that keep them up at night, and you can help them solve that. You can walk them over a transformation bridge that will, if you're a career coach, help them get a better job. If you are a fitness coach, you'll help them lose 10 to 15 pounds. If you are a business coach, you'll help them hit 5-figure months consistently. You'll walk them over that transformation bridge, right? And then we want to get in front of that ideal client. And that really is a matter of preference. And, I find that it's oftentimes distracting that we get all these gimmicks. There's someone trying to sell you a gimmick, or sell you uh, a tactic that worked for their business. And it might not feel fun and authentic for your business. So I want you to think about how you go out and connect with your ideal client. I want you to think about it from the space of what is fun and authentic for me, right? So first, tap that personal network, second and third degree connections. Second, make sure it's something you enjoy doing. What is the best use of your time, treasure, and talents? And then thirdly, what of that thing that you are excited to do, can you do it consistently? And can you set benchmarks for yourself around it, so that you can show up and do it enough to generate the leads, follow up with those leads enough to generate the consultation calls, have enough of those consultation calls to actually generate sales, okay? And so those are my 3 points on how to get in front of your ideal client. And if you want to understand more of the what, the more of the what and the how of this, please reach out to your personal concierges. Again, if your first name begins with the letters A through D as in dog, Crystal is your concierge. If your first name begins with the letters E through M as in Mary, Sai is your concierge. If your first name begins with the letters N through Z, Lucille is your concierge. Okay, so you can reach out and get access to additional trainings we have on this. We also have a suite of products. So we have the Exit Strategy Academy, which is a 13-week program for our part-time coaches and consultants who are looking to scale out of their corporate jobs, and into their businesses full time. And we work on these foundational pieces with you, alongside you. You are never alone. There's always 2 touch points with our team, and accountability is baked in. So if you're struggling to do what you say you're going to do, definitely ask for more information on the program. We also have online courses to support you in building the practice of your dreams. So again, I'm Keita Williams. I am the founder and chief strategist of Success Bully, and I have an incredible passion about supporting women in building the businesses that they want, because entrepreneurship is a gift. it is a highly guarded gift, right? And I want to create more pathways and drawbridges and ladders to get more people where they want to go in their entrepreneurial journey, right? So that is my personal passion, and I hope to support at least 300 women this year in scaling their businesses. So if you want additional support, reach out. You can go ahead and skip the line and book a strategy call at successbully.com/call. Have an incredible week. Go back and look at those other trainings. Get in motion. If you get stuck with any of this, reach out, and our team is willing to support you and making sure you have everything you need to get unstuck and get to where you need to go. So, all right, y'all, let's get after it. Have a powerful week.